Imagine having 10 extra hours every single week. What would you do at that time? Would you launch a side hustle finally? Would you spend more time with your family? Or maybe you would just relax. I'm going to be breaking down a step-by-step roadmap on how to reclaim your time so you can reclaim your life. And by the end of this episode, you are going to know how to reclaim 10 or more hours back into your week this week so that you can finally have more time and space to do what matters most to you. Welcome back to the Fire Inside podcast, the podcast for ambitious women who want to get all the desire done without burning out. I'm your host, Sade Kelly, high performance coach, wife, and mom who's on a mission to help you reclaim 10 or more hours every single week to grow your career or your business, stay consistent, and do more of what matters most to you. Because I have seen all different types of schedules with my clients, and I've been able to help them reclaim at least 10 hours every single week. So I'm gonna help you know how to actually look at your week as a whole and pinpoint out those extra hours that you can be utilizing better. Now, for a lot of people, time feels very scarce. I know for me, before I became a master at my time management, I struggled a lot to find hours in my day. It felt like I would wake up, roll over, barely be able to get ready how I wanted to. Like I'd be rushing to get ready, maybe put on a little bit of makeup, throw on an outfit and running to the train, probably eating breakfast sometime between my walk to the train or on the train, just for me to walk into work all day, maybe take a couple breaks here and there, then leave work, literally go straight to the gym, be literally sitting on the train to the gym, thinking about what I'm gonna be making for dinner, make dinner, eat dinner, go to sleep, do it all over again. I was just stuck in this cycle, doing the same thing again and again and again. And I would complain all the time about how I wanted my side hustles to grow. I wanted to spend more time on those business ventures. I wanted to be doing better in my career. I wanted to be doing better with my health. I wanted to see my friends more. I wanted to have deeper relationships. But I wasn't actually making the time because in my head, I deeply believed I didn't have the time. I fell into the trap of hustling and feeling like I have to be doing all the things in a certain way. And this is just how life is. And this is how everybody lives. And this is how I've seen things be done. No, that is not how things needed to be. And when I started to reel back all these beliefs and think about all these limiting things that I was telling myself, I realized that I'm constantly reminding myself that I have to hustle, that this is just how life is, that I just don't have the time. And all of those things are not true. They're only true if I believe them. If I have thoughts of not having enough time, then I will feel like, yeah, I don't have it. I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed, I'm anxious. I would have these feelings attached to these thoughts. And if I just switched the thoughts because they had nothing to do with the circumstance that I was in, I could actually open myself up to more possibilities. Would you imagine that? If we just changed our thoughts, life could be different. I talk about this so much with clients because a lot of our issues come down to our mindset. Now, I know there are about 5 people who watch this and roll their eyes at that, but it is simply the truth. Sometimes I roll my eyes at it too, sis, but it is the truth. If we can change our thoughts about certain life circumstances that we have, possibilities open up. So one thing I did was I changed how I saw my days. And a big shift where this happened to me was I was sitting in a conference room. I remember sitting down, I was with another couple of women executives and I looked up to them at the time. I was fresh out of college. I think I was 21 and I was like, oh my gosh, this is who I wanna be like. And I just heard them complaining about how they didn't have time to show up to this for their kids or this or that. And they had to do this for work. And then they had all these different things going on, blah, 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 blah. And I was thinking to myself, even though I was only 21, that's not how I want my life to be. I want to be able to show up to everything for my kids when I have kids. I want to be able to be present with my husband. I want to be able to also have a thriving career. Why does it seem like women can't have all the things that they want to have? Somehow men can have it, but women can't? I couldn't fathom that, but it just didn't feel right in my body. I was like, that is not about to be my life. I need to figure out the solution to this because this is not going to work for me. And just that day, and sometimes it's a moment like that, or sometimes it's a combination of a lot of different things. And sometimes it's really just one day you wake up and you realize I'm fed up. And I always said that there's a turning point in a lot of people's lives where they either are like, yeah, I can keep doing what I'm doing and be comfortable and miserable, honestly, or I could get uncomfortable and do something different because I'm so fed up with where I am right now that there has to be better. There can't be anything worse than this. So I have to just put myself out there and go for it. And if you're in that other side, then you're ready to make these changes to reclaim your time. Because the thing about it is according to neuroscience and behavioral science, No one can make you do something, right? We know that, but it's almost like we look for motivation, we look for inspiration, we look for empowerment, right? Like I create this content, so I'm sure you watch this video because you're like, I need Sade to say something that's gonna make me want to take action, right? And yes, people can inspire you, they can motivate you, they can make you feel good. You can go to an event and feel rah, rah, ready to go. But at the end of the day, you have to be self-motivated. No one can actually make you take the action. You can listen to all the gurus, you can listen to the coach, you can listen to the mentor, you can do all the things, you can know all the things, but you have to be the one that decides, I'm going to take that first step. I'm going to actually change something in my mindset. I'm going to change my thoughts. I'm going to make sure I'm changing my feelings. I'm going to work through things I have going on in my life. I'm going to actually actively choose to be disciplined, to reclaim my time, to utilize my time better, to actually go and launch my side hustle and make it into something, right? Like we have to be the one to decide to do the thing, even when we feel scared. And I believe me, I've had so many areas in my life when I was so scared, and I'll I'll leave a link to the episode where I talked about all the different pivots I went through. But like I've had huge pivots from becoming a mom to becoming a full-time entrepreneur to becoming a wife. Like there's so many big life changes that we're going to go through in our lives, and we get to decide, like, am I going to actually embrace this change and figure out how I can actually follow through on it, or am I going to not do so and be okay with where I'm at and just decide to complain and be a victim? I'm not telling you which one is right and wrong. You have to decide that for yourself. But most likely you're someone who wants to see change, and you're someone who wants to live out the life that they desire. So let's get into how exactly to reclaim your 10 hours back into your week. So week one, because I'm going to go through this week by week. Week one, I want you to audit yourself and become aware of where your time is even going. Now, this is always the most enlightening exercise for every single one of my clients. And if you're a client watching this, I know you're probably like, yup, when Shadi had me audit my time, it changed my life, because it really does. This is something I did for myself. I actually worked with at the time I was taking this course. I forgot when I took the course, but it was when I was like learning how to blog. And in the blogger course that I took, she was teaching like auditing your time. And I thought, why is a blogger like teaching this, a part of like, figuring out how to grow a blog? But it made a lot of sense, because if you want to be growing a blog, you have to make time to write, to edit, to publish, to engage, to promote. Like you need to make time for all those things, right? And this is any part of our lives. So I started auditing my time, and I started to see a lot of patterns, and I started to become way more aware of where my time was going. And this is one of the first steps that helped me realize, oh, I have a lot of time. I'm just kind of BSing the time, or I need to be shifting things around so that I can use my time better. So I want you to do this. I want you to actually like either physically write down in 30-minute increments for an entire week. So this is week one. We're starting right now. As you're watching this, I don't care if it's Friday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, you're going to start. Don't wait to the next day. Don't wait for a whole fresh week. You're going to start today for the next 7 days. You're going to write out in 30-minute increments what you spend your time doing. If you want to do it in digital format, you could use Toggl, you could use Sensama. And I like Toggl and Sensama because you can literally start a timer when you're doing something and then end the timer, and you can get exact time frames. But roughly, you just want to know, what are you doing every 30 minutes throughout your day? And the results will be eye-opening. I promise you're going to be like, wow, I thought I scrolled for 20 minutes, but I was scrolling for like 3 hours. Oh, I thought I wasn't overcommitting, but I'm saying yes to everything. Oh, I thought I had boundaries around when I go in the office and when I don't, but I guess I don't. Like, you're going to start to realize, oh, okay, I give a lot of my time away to my coworkers, to my family members, to people who call me on the phone that I could be utilizing and reclaiming that time back. You're going to find so many hours in that time tracker. I promise you. Come back to this episode after you do week one, okay? Because week one is going to open your eyes. Just time auditing and like really figuring out, where are the patterns in my day? When am I most energetic? What could I be fixing? What are my productivity patterns, which is something I go in depth with my clients, figuring out how we can work with their natural rhythms to create better routines and systems for them. Week two is going to be hard. This is going to be hard for people, but I want you to do this. Week two is when you're going to figure out what you need to eliminate and what you need to delegate. Now, a lot of people struggle with delegation. But I promise you, there is always someone you can delegate things to. Don't sit here and tell me you have nothing you can delegate. You have things you can delegate to people in your household, whether that is your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your kids, or if that's a friend, a coworker, a cleaning person, a meal prep service, a laundry service. Like there is someone you can delegate things to, even if it's AI. Because I know some people are gonna be like, well, I don't have the money for those certain things or whatever, or I don't have this, I don't have that. Even if it's AI or tools or things that you can be doing to make your life easier, there's always something you can delegate. And I want you to open your mind up, right? We talked about this before we got into the different steps. We talked about how can I open my mind up and change how I look at things to find the possibilities in my life? So I want you to think about, how can I ruthlessly cut or delegate tasks that do not align with my priorities at the moment? Ask yourself that question and then watch what comes up. A lot of times when I ask clients this type of question, the first thing they say is, I don't know. And then I pause. I don't say anything, and I don't want you to say anything. After you say, I don't know, I want you to just think. Because I promise you that second thought, if it wasn't the first thought, is going to be an answer to your question that actually is helpful. Give yourself the time and space to figure out what you can actively get rid of. What are the time wasters that you can get rid of? What are the unnecessary meetings that you don't need to be a part of? Where are you multitasking and it's not even helping you? You're thinking you're finally relaxing and winding down for the day, but you're trying to read and you're trying to answer emails, or maybe you're trying to watch TV, but also trying to clean up the house and you don't even know what's really going on in either of the things that you're doing, right? Where are you doing things like that? I want you to start eliminating those things, because I realized I was spending like 5 to maybe sometimes 10 hours alone on administrative tasks that I need to be doing. I could be delegating those things out. I could be utilizing AI. I could create up Zapier connections so that I didn't need to be manually doing things I didn't manually be doing, right? There are so many ways to systemize and automate a lot of these things. And if you don't know how to do it, look it up, right? We're in the age of information. You can look up anything, especially something like that. There's so many YouTube videos and there's so many different AI tools that can literally break down, oh, here's how you can systemize this. Here's how you can make this simpler for your life. But we don't always spend the time to actually do that. But week 2, that's all you're going to be doing. After you've understood what your patterns and you're aware of your auditing and where you need to be utilizing your time better, next you're going to think about, okay, what can I be eliminating? What can I be delegating? How can I restructure things? Week 3 is when you're going to create your beautiful systems. Now, this is where you're going to write out the steps to all the things you are regularly doing. So whether it is cleaning, cooking, your business, your 9 to 5, your home life, your kids, your husband, yourself, your wellness, your exercise, like whatever it is, your hobbies, you're gonna write out all the different things you have to do to make sure those things get done. Right? What are the different tasks? Let's say, for instance, meal prepping. You know that you have to figure out what's the recipes or the meal plan for the week. What are the things you need to buy from the grocery store or order from the grocery store? When are you going to do that? When are you going to actually cut up the veggies, cook the thing, put it in the bowl, put it in the fridge? Like, literally write out all the little things that you know you need to do to make sure that those things are happening. And then you're going to create a system around it. You're going to start to plug these things into your weekly calendar, your weekly planner, whatever you use to manage your days, which if you don't use anything, here's a big hint. Start using something. Okay, by week 3, after you done audited yourself and you figure out what you can eliminate and delegate, you cannot sit here and tell me you don't have a place where you're planning out your week. You need to be planning out your week. And if you are someone who's like, I don't like to plan, I like things to come on at a whim, you should get off this video, because it's not for you, because you're in delusion. Like, you're totally being delusional if you think you don't need to plan your week in order to be more effective and to achieve more success. It's just not going to happen. If you're letting things happen to you, that's how your life is going to end up. If you don't plan, you plan to fail, right? I highly believe that. And I'm not saying you have to have every minute of your day planned, but if you're not going into the day with at least knowing what your priorities are or where your time is going to go, your life is being filled out by other people's priorities and you're not actually reclaiming and taking ownership of your own life. So if you haven't chosen where you're going to be planning your week, pick a system that you're going to be using, whether it's Insama, ClickUp, TickTick, a physical planner. I know I had a client who likes bullet journals. Like, figure out where you're going to use. Make sure it's at least in 1, max 2 places. Because if you worked with me, you know I'm all about like not having multiple notebooks, Post-its, all of those different things. It's just disorganized. Okay, it's just horrible. And if you need help figuring all of that out and getting your time management into one distinct place, then you should definitely book a call with me, and that link will be in the show notes. But what I want you to do is figure out, okay, how can I save time by taking all of these steps and actually getting them put into my weekly plan so that they're automatic. Like on my calendar, I know when I'm cleaning, I know when I'm cooking, I know when I'm batching content, I know when I'm doing emails. Like these are things that I know happen every single week. So why do I act like they just coming up every single week? Why would I act like that? I know they're coming up. So why are they not systemized and already part of my weekly routine? This is how you're gonna save so much time. When you start batching tasks, when you start realizing, okay, there's these non-negotiable things that I'm doing every single week that I wasn't even conscious of, but now that I know, I'm realizing that I can group these things together better, and then I can gain back an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, right? And that's when you'll start to see, oh, as I'm planning my week, I have a lot of time. Where I always can find time, and I can't believe I'm gonna share this with you guys, but I'm sharing this with you guys, okay? So listen up. There's always at least an hour in the morning and an hour at night. Most of the time, there's 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours at night that I can find that people can reclaim their time. And especially there's usually at least 30 minutes to an hour in the afternoon where you're BSing, where your energy's a little low, that we can also reclaim. So that means you have at least 1, 2, maybe up to 5 hours in your day that you can gain back. 5 hours times 7 days, whoa, you just gained back a lot of time, 35 hours back into your week, a part-time job, right? When I first started working with people with time management, and before I really knew my expertise, I helped a couple friends out. And after I did a workshop with them, they literally started saving 4 hours every single day. And when they told me that, I was like, wait, you guys gained back 28 hours just by some tweaks that I taught you? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is like life-changing. Imagine having back 10 hours, but also imagine having back 35 hours, 28 hours, 20 hours back into your life just by pinpointing out, okay, here is where I have an extra hour of time when I was able to audit myself, when I was able to eliminate and delegate things out, when I was able to systemize and actually figure out what my plan looks like as a whole and what I have coming up every single day of each day of the week on a regular basis. This is what I have going on. And I realized, okay, here's an hour here, here's an hour here, here's an hour there, here's an hour there. And if I actually execute on those times, I'm able to actually see a lot of progress in the things that I want to be doing. Are you guys starting to see it? If you actually start writing out your plan and figuring out where time is being wasted, you can regain back hours. And I just told you where those sweet spots typically are. So do not sit here in my comments and tell me you did not reclaim your time. And if you cannot figure it out for whatever reason, please leave it in the comments or book a call with me, and I would love to help you work through that and see if working together makes the most sense for you. Now, week 4, what we're gonna do in week 4 is learn how to protect and optimize, right? Because a lot of times people don't know how to have really set boundaries. And if you haven't listened to my episode on boundaries, I will link that because you guys need to listen to the episode. But really succinctly, I want you to figure out how you can create boundaries around your time so you can protect it. Whether that means you have a no phone zone, you need to put a sign on your door, you need to put your phone on silent, you need to let your friends know, hey, I can't look at the group chat right now. If you need me, I'm available during XYZ times. I had a client one time, she kept telling me, oh, I have to be available. I have to be available for my team. They need me, they need me, they need me. She thought they could not survive without her. Like, girl, you're important, but you ain't that important, okay? Your team won't learn how to do things for themselves if you don't learn how to let them. You have to let them learn, right? If you're always available, always answering the questions, always on call, they know they can take advantage of that. I will sit here and tell you, I had a boss like that. Girl, I used to ask him everything because I knew he would answer me. And it's like not good. Looking back, it was like, yeah, I knew I didn't have to think too much because I knew he would just answer me. He was always available. And you think that's a plus, but it's really not because you don't get to actually train and learn things for yourself. So what I would rather you do is let your team know when you're available and really time out your day where it's like, okay, in between XYZ meetings, I need to actually do the work that we talked about in the meeting. I can't just keep going to meetings and answering questions all day. And then at the end of the day, I'm trying to catch up on my own work. No, that's you giving your time away. Don't sit here and say you don't have time when you have time. You're just not actually adequately saying what you need and letting others know how you're going about your day so you can be more efficient. And I promise you, your boss, your coworkers, your family, your friends, they're all going to understand, because everyone wants to respect you, right? They want to actively, at least if they love you, they want to know how you're actively protecting your boundaries so they can actually do it and help you out and support you through that. So figure out how you can optimize your tasks and along with your energy and your day so that things can just flow better. So during this week 4, it's all about like, okay, let me figure out how I can do things during my peak productivity times. Let me figure out how I can protect my time and my boundaries. Let me figure out how I can optimize things based on my energy. And let me just make sure that I'm protecting my time with some really good blocks of deep focus as well, because what I realized is a good 1 to 2 hour deep focus time is better than having meaningless kind of busy work throughout the day, trying to focus, but not really. Like if you can do an hour to a focus time, you can get a lot done during that time. If not, at least 30 minutes of deep focus is really, really good. Deep focus meaning you set a timer, you're working on that one thing for this time frame, and you're just zoned in on that. And if you need to take a break here and there, you do it, for your mental capacity. But if it's just to be distracted, then no. I want you to learn how to actually get yourself focus, whether it's with a timer, whether it's with body doubling, whether it's with doing it with an accountability partner that actually will be helping you. Like figure out how you can really be protecting your time, optimizing your time, and planning around your productivity patterns, your habits, and your lifestyle. So this is the 4-week plan to reclaim 10 or more hours back into your week. Let me know if you have any questions about this or how you are going about optimizing this. I want you to do this week by week so that by the end of the 4 weeks, you know exactly how to reclaim 10 or more hours of your time and you know how to be consistent with it. This is a realistic plan to help you work through this in 30 days. So you're not rushed, but you're able to start small and do things over time. And if you need to rewatch this video, rewatch it as many times as you need so that you can execute on it properly. When you're able to reclaim 10 or more hours of your time, it makes the biggest of difference. So some things some of my clients have been able to do in just 90 days is write a book. Like I actually had a client write a book in 90 days when she was able to reclaim 10 or more hours back into her time. I had one of my clients make her first 5 figures in her business. I had a client land a new job within 2 weeks. I mean, you guys, she came to me, she didn't have a job, she had been applying, getting nothing. And then 2 weeks later, after just making some shifts with how she was managing her day, she landed not 1, but 2 jobs within 2 weeks. She was able to choose which one she wanted to actually pursue. I've had clients get promotions. I've had clients lose 20 plus pounds and keep the weight off. I've had clients spend more time with their friends and family, actually implement wellness routines for the first time. I've had clients achieve more in 90 days than they have in the last 3 years while managing their busy households, jobs, businesses, all of the things. I promise you, the thing a lot of coaches don't always talk about is that we need to have really good time management. We need to know how to manage our lifestyle, our habits, our patterns before we can use any strategy to grow our business or to grow our career. This is the first step, because a lot of times entrepreneurs get into entrepreneurship and they're like, I don't know how to manage my day. Without a boss, I don't get things done. I don't know what to do. I don't have a process. I don't know how to follow through. And these are things that are not always taught in your day-to-day job. They're not always taught growing up. They're definitely not taught in school. And that is exactly why I'm so passionate about being the high performance coach for you, to help you develop these skills. If you know you want accountability and a proven system to make this work for you the first time, make sure that you apply for one-on-one coaching. The link is in the description. If you have any questions, leave it down below. And please go ahead as your action item, follow through on this week by week roadmap. And I promise you, you will reclaim 10 or more hours. Now you know exactly how to do it. So there's no excuses. Show up for yourself so that you can reclaim those 10 or more hours in your week so you can be doing more that matters to you. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.